Hi, this is Lara at Elliott Wave Stock Market with your twice weekly Apple analysis. This analysis is done on Monday 20th of May. I'm recording this video 10 past 8 in the evening New York time, Monday New York time. At the daily chart level, my wave count remains the same since last analysis. I expect we have a supercycle degree end of a first wave which lasted 30 years and the start of a supercycle second wave correction. Within that, we're still within cycle wave A, which should be expected to last 1 to several years, so the A wave is not over. Within the A wave, it's probably subdividing as a 5-wave impulse. We have primary 1 and 2 complete. Primary 3 needs to show an increase in momentum beyond that seen for primary 1. We haven't seen that so far, so the middle of the third wave down is incomplete. Within primary 3, we have intermediate 1, a running flat for intermediate wave 2, which may indicate some strong downwards momentum to come. At 289.78, intermediate wave 3 will reach equality in length with intermediate wave 1. We'll then look out for a fourth wave correction to last probably a couple of weeks or so. Then further downwards movement. The target for primary 3 is 272, where it will reach 1.618, the length of primary wave 1. We'll have another fourth wave correction, and then probably a fifth wave, which isn't as long as the third wave and may reach equality with the first. Could also be truncated, that's another possibility. Within intermediate wave 3, no second wave correction may move beyond the start of its first wave above 465.75. Let's have a look at this on the hourly chart with the start of this third wave here. Is this point down here. Last analysis, I had minuet 1, 2, followed by sub-minuet 1, 2, 3, 4, and we would be expecting a fifth wave down. That wave count does still remain valid. It is possible because the fourth wave has remained below what would be first wave price territory, but the second and fourth waves are too far out of proportion, giving it a rather odd look. So I've considered several different possibilities for how to label this downwards movement. What seems most likely is minuet wave 1 is probably complete as a 5-wave impulse, and this deep upwards movement is probably a double zigzag for a second wave correction. Within minuet wave 1, there is a reasonable Fibonacci ratio of equality between sub-minuet waves 1 and 5, and within the middle of the third wave there are some decent Fibonacci ratios as well. It has a slightly 3-wave look, but like I said, I've considered other possibilities, leading diagonals in various different ways, and it just doesn't have as good a fit. This wave count has the best look and the best fit overall. The subdivisions within this upwards movement subdivide best as a double zigzag structure. From this low to this high, we have a 5-3-5. We have a zigzag here with a triangle for the B wave. We have another 5-3-5, and the purpose of a double zigzag is to deepen a correction when the first zigzag doesn't go deep enough. This first zigzag is less than 50% of minuet wave 1, so that certainly could be said to be not deep enough for a second wave correction. The second zigzag so far has taken price to just shy of the 0.618 Fibonacci ratio. We could see a little bit more upwards movement maybe to just above 447.85. If minuet wave 3 has begun here, then at 370 it will reach 1.618, the length of minuet wave 1. If minuet wave 2 moves any higher, then this target must also move correspondingly higher. I would want to wait for movement below this trend channel containing this upwards double zigzag structure, and it does contain it fairly nicely. If we get movement below this channel, I would have more confidence in this target to the downside. At that stage, I'd expect we have trend channel confirmation that the upwards correction is over and the next move down should then be underway. Before I finish this video, I'm just going to take you over to Motive Wave, and I've been asked to explain why I don't think cycle wave A is complete. Let's have a look at the monthly chart level. This supercycle degree wave lasts over 380 months. That's just over 30 years or 3 decades, which is what you'd expect for a supercycle wave. So that's why I've labelled this long upwards movement for Apple to this all-time high as supercycle degree, because it's lasted over 30 years. And the subwaves within it, they're lasting about 1 to several years, with the exception of the final sharp little fifth wave, which only lasted 3 months. All the others are looking pretty good in terms of cycle degree waves. From this high to the downside, we only have 8 months so far, so to label this as a complete zigzag supercycle degree lasting only 8 months just doesn't fit. I don't think even the A wave within it would be complete, because an A wave at cycle degree would be expected to last 1 to several years, and a second wave correction at supercycle degree would be expected to last probably decades. Let's have a look at the weekly chart for this. So the problem is, can we see if, let's just for argument's sake, see if cycle wave A could possibly complete. Let's get rid of this. Just to work with this, I'm just going to quickly get rid of this big cursor because it's very difficult to work with. Okay, let's try and subdivide the cycle wave A into a 3-wave structure. Okay, probably not there. This here is a 5 down, complete. I've looked at that right down to the hourly chart. I'm happy that's an impulse. Let's label it complete down here. Let's try and see how the C wave would subdivide. So far we have a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I'm going to count this little one in here and this last piece of movement here, because from this high to this low you cannot count that as a 5, that's a 3. So from this high to this low we have a count of 9, that's impulsive. Let's see if a C wave can fit in there. Okay, the problem here is your fifth wave. How does that subdivide? It's got a count of 5. Let's see, can it be an impulse? No, doesn't work. You'd have 3 here, you'd have 1 here. 2 problems with that. Fourth wave overlaps first wave, and the third wave is the shortest, and it doesn't move beyond the end of the first. That just absolutely does not work. Okay, well, if it's not the fifth wave extended, what if the third wave ended here? This, from this high to this low, for a third wave must subdivide as an impulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 doesn't work. 4 overlaps 1. That just doesn't work. What if it's the first wave extended? Again, doesn't work. Does not work. The only way you can see this is incomplete. Even though it has a count of 9, it just can't be complete. That's why I have it like this. It's either ABC or 1, 2, 3. Either way, we're still going to have further downwards movement. Either way, we're entering a third wave down. I hope that makes it a little bit clearer why I have the wave count I have. I have considered various possibilities, and this is the only one at this stage I can see where all the right rules for Elliott wave are met. That's all for me today with your Apple analysis, and I hope that everybody had a really awesome weekend.